guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Today I filmed an updated brow tutorial for you guys because one of my subscribers asked me to do that. Again, this is another video that hasn't been that long since I've already done one, but as months and even weeks go by, your technique just gets better. You pick up a few tricks and you find what works best for you along the way. Makeup is just like a constant learning process because there's always new things and always new ways and tricks to do those things and achieve the best look possible. So I think we can all agree that 2015 was like the year for makeup, but eyebrows have always been super important, and I unfortunately, like looking back on pictures, I didn't know that, and it's just been a rough journey, but it's taken a lot of practice, and I'm not saying that my eyebrows are perfect or that they're what I would like for them to be, but you know, you have to start somewhere, and so I hope I can help you guys find your starting point and give you a few tricks and maybe some pointers on how to perfect your brows. Also, just a little warning, don't be too frightened when you start watching this video or the demo portion, because it is quite a difference, and you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. So if you guys are interested in seeing my brow tutorial, then just keep watching. Okay, so I look crazy, but I wanted to show you guys my face completely done. Every single thing is done except for my eyebrows, because I wanted to show you how important it really is to fill in your eyebrows and pay your eyebrows some kind of attention when you're doing your makeup. If you're just beginning, you're definitely going to want to start with a powder or maybe a brow pencil. I have the NYX Micro Brow Pencil in the shade Espresso, which I think they have one that's one shade darker than this, but I'm not for sure. But this one, in my opinion, is a little bit too light for my hair, and it is so pigmented that I kind of find it hard to work with just in the form that it comes with. Swatched on the back of my hand, it doesn't look too intimidating. It's not a big deal, but when I use it, it's totally different, and you saw that in my 5-minute makeup look if I've already put that up before this one. So anyway, I just wanted to show you guys how big of a difference brows make. I know I look crazy. Even if you don't know me, you've never met me in person, you've never seen any of my pictures, and this is the first video of mine that you've seen, you can even tell that something about me is just not quite right. There's something off with my face. And for those of you who are too afraid to fill in your eyebrows, this is the difference that it makes. As you guys can see, my face just looks totally different, and the reason is because eyebrows frame your face, and when you kind of neglect them and don't really pay much attention to them in your makeup routine, you can tell a huge difference. So I wanted to share a few different products with you guys because I did use my NYX brow pencil on camera for the first time, and I do find this thing pretty difficult to work with. It's super pigmented, but just for some reason I don't get the same application that I do with this as I would with my normal brushes and pomades. So this is the first product. I would recommend this to a beginner. Just make sure you use a light hand, especially at the front of your brow, because it is, again, so pigmented. And also, I did want to mention that this is the NYX Micro Brow Pencil, and this is made in the same factory as the Anastasia brow pencil, so they are dupes for one another, and you're going to save a lot of money by going with these, because I think Anastasia does have a better color variety, but NYX is a lot more affordable. So I highly recommend that you guys check these out because they're the same consistency. And I'm also going to link Marlena's video down below, which is Makeup Geek, if you guys have ever heard of their eyeshadows or any of their amazing products. She does have a YouTube channel, and that's how she got started, and she did a dupe video on this NYX brow pencil compared to the Anastasia brow pencils. So I'm going to put that down below so you guys can check that out if you have been on the fence about which one to buy. So moving on, the next product that I have has been my ride or die for so long. I'm so sad that I went over to the dark side. But this is the Wet n Wild Brown Gel Liner. This only comes in 2 shades, black and brown, because it is a gel liner. So if you do have blonde hair, this is not going to work for you. But if you have darker hair like me, and you want to try a drugstore product on your brows, I would recommend this one because it glides on so easily and it stays put all day. And then what I'm going to use on my brows today is the Anastasia Dipbrow Pomade in the shade Dark Brown. So I just picked this up before Christmas, and I've absolutely been loving it. And I am using the one of her brushes. It is the number 12, which is double-sided. So on this side it has the angled brow portion, and on this one it has the spoolie to comb through your brows, which is great that it is both in one, because I used to have 2 different brushes. And this is the Eco Tools brush that I used to use, which is just an angled liner brush, which I still love, but this one I have been reaching toward lately. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the demo, because if you guys are watching this video, then you want to see how I do my brows, and now you know that this is a must. So I hope that I can teach you a few things so that you guys don't feel clueless whenever you're whenever you're doing your makeup and it's time to address your brows. So again, I just want to share the golden brow rule. and that is how long you want them to be and the shape. If you're like me, you overplucked your eyebrows horribly in high school, maybe you still do, maybe you had a waxing accident and they took off too much. So this is probably, for me, I know it's kind of hard to tell right now because my eyebrows are pretty patchy, is probably as thick and as long as my eyebrows will ever be. I did grow them out, and if you notice in my videos that they might have looked a little funny like 2 or 3 weeks ago, it's because I plucked some hairs right here, which I didn't think were vital. Big mistake, because they were just little strays that I never even applied any product to, but seriously, it made such a big difference when I got rid of them, because then my brows were just so like out there, and they just looked like it wasn't very smooth, if that makes sense. Like, it wasn't very smooth transition between my natural brow hairs and my skin, so it just looked awful, and I'm so glad that they're growing back because it makes such a huge difference. Anyway, so the eyebrow rule is, and you could use your finger to do this, but I'm just going to use this little brush because it's skinnier and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about better. But you just want to take this brush and line it up at the bottom of your nose and then at the start of your eye, like in your tear duct, and that is where you want your brow to start. So next, to make sure that your brow is arched properly, so again, you want to reference the base of your nose and then to your pupil, and that is where you want your arch to start, which is where it starts to get skinnier from the front. And then how you want your brow length to be, which mine aren't as long as I'd like them to be, but I just fill them in a little bit more. You want to, again, go to the base of your nose and then the end of your eye, and that is where your eyebrow should end. So, of course, it's not going to be perfect. You know, your brows are probably going to take a little bit of time to be tamed down or to be shaped correctly, and if you trust someone to do your brows, and I would do that. I've never had anyone wax mine or thread mine or anything like that. I've always just plucked them. So I finally got it down and finally stopped getting tweezer happy and just let them grow out. And then I just plucked the ones underneath and a few on top that are strays and that aren't meant to be there, in my opinion. So using my Anastasia Dipbrow and my number 12 brush, I'm going to take a little bit of product on the brush. So as you know, my number 1 rule is to go with the least amount of product possible, because you can always add more, but you can't take some away. I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing me say that, but it's so important to do that. So what I like to do is start at the front of my eyebrow and run it underneath my eyebrow just to frame it and where I'm going to lay down the product. So with light strokes, I'm just going to run that underneath the front of my brow. And then to make sure I don't have a harsh line, I'm going to go ahead and take some of that product up just to blend out that line. Just going upward to mimic natural hairs. I'm going to fill in at the top just so that it looks as natural as possible. Again, using a very light hand and very little product. Just following my natural brow line. I'm just going to start going backward toward the tail, just with light strokes. And then I always stop there and go ahead and start working on the other brow, because I like to make them as even and as similar as possible, because if your eyebrows are exactly the same, you are so lucky, because it's just hard to get them shaped correctly both ways. So I like to stop in the middle and work at the same time on both brows to make sure they're as even as possible. So again, going underneath the front of my brow. And then fading upward. With lighter strokes to mimic hair. So going back to this eyebrow, I'm just going to start filling everything in. And like I said, I do want to add a little bit more length to the end, but I'm just going to work my way there, just making sure that everything is really smooth. Okay, and I will go back in and make it a little bit darker, but for now I'm just going to again work on this side to make sure everything is as even as possible. Okay, and if you do have longer brow hairs that you seem to have a hard time to tame, they're kind of unruly, then I'll recommend using either a brow gel to set them so that they don't move throughout the day, or even just taking a little spoolie like this and spraying hairspray on it and just running that through your brows just to make sure that they're staying in place and they don't. So this is pretty much it for how I fill them in, but I'm gonna go ahead and perfect them and tweak them a little bit off camera, and then I'll be back. So just a quick little rundown. This is another thing that you can practice before you go to bed if you're too afraid to just do it right before you have to go to work or before you're going to class and you don't want to scare anyone or even scare yourself, because it can be scary. Then just go ahead and practice before you go to bed. So what you want to remember is to find a good color match for you, and also to find the best product that's going to work for you, maybe like a wax and a powder, or the brow pencil, or the brow pomades, or maybe a brow mousse or gel, anything like that. Just remember that you can experiment with a lot of different products and that you can always practice to perfect it. So don't be afraid that it's gonna look bad. And if you guys want to, literally, I don't mind. If you follow me on Instagram, if you guys send like a direct message and you want any advice on like ways to tweak your makeup, I will be glad to help you guys with that. So that's about it for my brows. But if you guys would like for me to get like a model, someone that maybe has really sparse brows or a totally different hair color, things like that, so you can actually see a brow transformation on someone else that's not me, I'll be glad to do that. Just leave me a comment down below so that I can get an idea of what you guys want to see, because brows are so important and they're so intimidating to so many people that they just don't even pay theirs attention, and they don't realize how big of a difference it's going to make, because it really just transforms your whole makeup look and it really frames your face and makes a huge difference. Because if you compare what I came on camera looking like to right now, it's totally different and it really just completes the look. So just let me know, I'll be glad to do that for you guys. And again, if you have any other video suggestions or any other questions, I'll always answer them as best as I can. And I want to help you in any way that I can. So again, with the brow roll, you just want to make sure, going off of the base of your nose, that it starts where your eye and tear duct start, and then where your you want your arch to start at the middle of your pupil, and then you want your eyebrow to end at the end of your eye. So I did add a little bit of length, and what I like to do is just run my finger right there just to make it look as natural as possible, because I added product to somewhere on my skin that really has no hair. So I want it to look natural. I don't want it to look too fake, even though that portion of my brows are fake. So you know, just make sure that everything is blended and you can kind of tone things down as much as possible. But yeah, that's it. So if you guys have any questions, any more video requests or anything like that, just leave me a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.